Okay, so guys, I thought I would make a follow-up video on the one that I made recently explaining the concept of my build to show you guys exactly the character that I have and the final setup that I've decided to stick with. So I'll show you guys where we're at. Last time I showed you the concept, it was like very basic, just nothing set up for it. It was like what, 6k, 9k ward we were reaching. Now that I've gotten a couple more items and fixed it a bit, this is what we're getting. We are now reaching like 30k, 35k ward. About. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen 36k, almost 37k even. 38, I think I just saw 38. So as you can see, this has come a pretty long way with very little changes. So I'm gonna go over the build, how it works again, and overall how to build the character and how it works. So I'm gonna start with the passives. Again, nothing special here, just 20 points to be able to get Paladin. Then on Paladin, when I get all the nodes that gives us flat to spells, like Heaven Fire is very important. It's a big amount, a lot of damage. Sentry Guardian also a lot of damage. Also armor, it's very good. So we take all these. We take all the healing effectiveness here and here. We also get the pen on convictions, very strong. Some attunements are just for the prerequisites. Prayer is a lot of damage because you have increased damage and healing effectiveness if you have healed yourself on an ally recently, and we always heal ourselves every single time we cast, since Smite casts healing hands on us and we always get healed, which is how it works. And yeah, then just Fate Armor with some crit avoidance, because I need it, and armor is strong. Reverence of Duality, just a very good value overall, and Light of Rare, also good value. It gives us move speed. Move speed is very important. For the skills, main skill is Smite. I decided to not go crit because crit was too annoying to set up to get going. Probably it's very difficult to make the gear for it, and I don't think it's worth it. It could be at some point. I haven't looked at it too in detail because I just wanted to get the build going, and it was too much of a headache to make a crit working. Also, crit means you lose cast speed, and losing cast speed means you lose ward, and it's pretty... it doesn't really... I don't think it is worth it, especially since we have nodes like Conflagration giving us a ton of damage, and we can use Singularity if you're not crit, so there's a lot of scaling we can get without going crit. Also, our Ignite do an okay amount of damage, so it's not the worst. So this is the tree here. Again, nothing special. Just Sacrifice, Pillar of Light, Conflagration, where we get our damage, and also Blinding Flash, having 50% blind, perma-blind basically, is pretty good. Sigils of Hope, getting +2 sigils, I think very important, get both. We get the Decree of Flame for the damage, also very important, and another thing we want is Word of Alacrity, which gives us a lot of cast speed with sigils, which again is very important because we want to spend our mana, and I'll explain that once we get to the gear. Healing Hands, when I go for Riot's Chariot and Sun Shroud, gives us mobility, and also gives us an invulnerability button. Like Sun Shroud makes it so you won't get damage when we charge. And it is very nice because, for example, say you start Neko and there's monsters already on top of you, which usually that never happens, but if it does, and in the situation, you can just start the echo like that, and you already generate a ton of ward. You heal your HP, and you're ready to fight. You will not die, and there's nothing they can do. It's not like you can get killed while you're charging, since you're invulnerable. And then we go for all the damage. Searing Light as us to do damage. Bane of Evil, stacking, scaling its spell damage with healing effectiveness, which is why we're gonna get as much healing effectiveness as possible. This scaling our damage with the specialized buff skills, which are Sigil of Hope, Healing Hands, and Holy War, all three buff skills, which means we're getting, at the very least, 60% more damage from that node, which is huge. And then Virtue of Patience, which normally has a huge downside in the minus 32% cast speed penalty, but, again, the way we're doing it is we trigger it with Smite. And if we trigger with Smite, Smite does not get the cast speed penalty. Which is why I think Healing Hands is a lot better as a skill that you trigger rather than a skill that you cast. Like, for example, if you were to try to proc Divine Bolts with Smite, for example. With Healing Hands, sorry. So we go for that. We go for all the mana cost here, the reduction mana cost, which is gonna make healing hands free, which is very important. And I'll explain again why later. Again, we go for Divine Barrier, which basically enables the build and home ward. And the reason we get home ward is so we do not have conditional healing. Like every time we cast Smite, you will get healed no matter what. It does hurt the clear while clearing echoes because you have to go melee range to get the healing hands AoE, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, and I would, especially since we have a lot of more movement now, so it's okay. Again, you can basically just play it like you're a melee character, and from range you will not have any AoE, but as soon as you're melee, you have healing hands anyway, and it's all good. And also here, Urgent Healing, which gives a massive boost to how much healing hands heals for, and therefore gives a massive boost to how much the ward healing hands generates. So very important to max that one out. And next is Holy Aura. Holy Aura, we go for the pen here, very important, a lot of damage. Same here, we get some cast speed because we want all the cast speed we can get. Makes the build feel a lot better to play. Also gives you more cast speed means more cast means more ward. Purification here, very nice to have for 1 point especially. It's insane value, 20% poison res, and you get to cleanse ailments whenever you use Holy Aura. So whenever you should have a bunch of poison stacks, you should have a bunch of debuffs, shred, whatever, or you're marked by deadly and you're not capped, you just use Holy Aura, boom, you clean it. Redemption for more healing effectiveness again, one of the main stats we need. And then we go for Shield by Faith to get some ward retention, because ward retention is very important because it allows us to push higher ward count. Then for the last, I decided to go with Javelin instead of Volatile Reversal. Volatile Reversal is very annoying to use. It sends you back in time for... Although it is a ton of damage, it sends you back in time for seconds because of that node, and which you want, because you want the longer duration on your buffs. And I ended up finding myself not using it almost ever because it can send you back into your death or bad position, and I decided not to play with it. And I gave Javelin a try instead, and it feels a lot better. One of the reasons being that it gives you a secondary movement skill, which is really nice because it means that now you have healing hands to move, and then you also have well, I can't even show. You have a secondary movement skill with the Javelin. And this is it feels very nice going through on the list. You get 2 movement skill like that, and also on top of it, we get Battle Standard, which gives us that nice buff. We're gonna be getting a decent amount of attunement. We currently have, I think, 60, so 30% increased damage. Not bad. We'll probably get more. And it gives you also Smite casts. And for my character, this with the cast speed I have, which is a lot, it still gives me about 25 to 30% more damage. So it is a sizable amount of damage from it. You can get from a single target. And also one thing to note is that the cast also shred, which means you're just getting more hits, more shred, more everything. That's also kind of the same with the healing hands. Healing hands will also shred. So and does a sizable amount of damage as well. I think it does about 30 to 40% of my damage right now. And yeah, that's it for the skills. For the gear, this is what I'm going for. So here you want Devil to Healing Hands, and then it's whatever else. I think right now I've decided to not go for health on my gear, so if I were to remake this helmet, I would have armor instead of health. And just try to get as much armor as possible. The mana is nice too, but flat mana is better. Percent mana is not that great. Flat mana should be better, I think. And then the big thing is Devotion. Now, Devotion is the reason we want to cast Sigils, because it says that you get spell damage and cast speed per missing mana. So you want to be playing at low mana as much as possible, and that is the reason why we make sure that Healing Hands cost 0 mana. Smite also costs 0 mana because you're using a wand. All you need is -3. And that will allow us to go low mana, and then we can just cast and just stay there. And we just cast Sigils regularly to keep our mana low. Yeah, also, Holy Aura also does it. The Javelin also spends mana. So, yeah. That is the reason also. You want to make sure you can always cast Healing Hands whenever you need it, because it's your movement skills, very important. But yeah, so the basically the best is stay low mana to get the maximum amount of the most damage possible, and with it. Now for the speaking of the wand, you want cast speed and fire pen on it, the two most important stats. The second prefix doesn't really matter that much. Ignite is nice, that's a really good one, it actually does something, it's pretty useful. And otherwise like fire damage, elemental damage, spell damage, I guess the ones you would look out for, but the two big ones are very high cast speed, tier 67 cast speed, and fire pen. For the chest, I'm going for attributes on it and armor. That's just what I have right now. Like, if I were to choose, I would probably have int instead of strength. I'm not sure. Strength is also very good because you use your armor, and armor is extremely good. But I would definitely only use that base, exactly that base, Champion Regalia, since she gives a ton of armor and armor mitigation applying to damage over time, which is since we're gonna have a lot of armor and we're gonna stack with our relic, it's a lot of it gives us a lot of dot mitigation that we could use. The shield, you want block chance and healing effectiveness. That is the two prefixes you always want. Then suffixes, it depends. You could have armor, you could have reduced damage taken on block, you could have a res if you need. It's pretty flexible on that part. The only thing that's kind of said, you really want high block chance, high healing effectiveness. The rings right now have these two rings. So this one fixes my crit avoidance for now, has attunement, fire damage, healing effectiveness, it's very good. This one too, and this one has a high int, like tier 6, yeah. Tier 6 int attunement, block chance. I think ideally I want block chance on both my rings. I'll explain later a bit more about that. And my glove, and one of the big item for this is the glove. So this is what enables the build. I actually forgot to explain that, but I'll do it now. The reason I can actually generate ward is because of that one item. As it says here, healing hands grants wards to ally based on your attunement, and if the ally that causes them to gain ward, ally has an effect that causes them to gain ward per second based on their missing health, like Sanguinus does, and this mod does, then it goes to ward instead of health, and this is how the entire build works. So this is where you want to get that mod. You can also use Extinguish if you don't have it. I really don't want to, because like you can see, you lose an absurd amount of stats losing your chest, and I do not want to do that, so I'll use a base like that instead. I got extremely lucky. I got extremely lucky getting this with the tier 6 cast speed on it. So, you know, cast speed is king, so this is actually pretty insane. But that is the key piece of gear that enables the build. You can do it as soon as you get an experimental base like that, or if you want, you can just put on Extinguish if you really want to play it. But I would wait to get that. Boots, stats could be int, could be attunement. Right now I have T7 attunement, so I'm using that. Move speed, mandatory. And then suffixes, you can have armor, you can have CDR. Ideally I would want armor and cooldown reduction, I would say. Relic. That is you only want to use this one. I don't think you want to use a regular relic. Only want to use the code of an erased. And ideally, I think you want sigils, not smite. I know it looks insane. I have +2 smite, but currently it doesn't really do that much. He gives me these 3 points here, which are pretty relevant because, as you can see, it doesn't matter how much I would spend. I would just heal myself if I'm really ranged with smite, and also your life pool really doesn't matter that much. So it is as good as insane as it looks, it is actually not that useful, and I would rather have +4 sigil of hope, so I could get Steiner the Guardian, get a bunch of blocks and block effectiveness. This is an insane node, and I would rather have that. Now for the belt, which is another item that you really need, I would say like pushes the build, is Strands of Souls, gives us a bunch of ward retention. That is actually the main reason. It's mostly just for the ward retention, because otherwise pretty difficult to get any. I would try to get this with 1 LP and get fire damage on it or cooldown reduction. But I don't think LP is that important. The most important part is getting a high roll on the ward retention. All the other mods are kinda whatever, like the ward on kill is nice. 10 ward per second is also nice, but with the amount of ward we're generating, it is not that relevant. Ward retention is what matters the most. The idols, we use Singularity again. We're not going crit because it's puts too much pressure on gear, and I don't even think it's worth it. Here, double life, armor and cold res, because I need to be the cold res. Yeah, still do. And armor, so I would go for armor and like res, I guess. Mana and health is fine too. Like getting some health is okay. It's not the end of the world if your life is low. Again, you have 30k ward. Don't care if your life is not that important. But it's still useful. It's still nice. And then the big ones, you want shred on every one of them. Shred armor is a huge amount of damage. Shred with fire skill, but I have the wrong one here. I just realized I have the wrong one. It should be shred with fire skill, not shred on armor. Really hit. That's a mistake. Yeah, shred armor with fire skills. Everywhere you can get it, and whatever second stat. For example, the large one are probably the best because you can get damage with Smite and shred armor. This is pretty big. You have blind, which is also nice, but really it doesn't really do that much. And your stun duration, same thing, doesn't really do that much. But yeah, shred is the big thing. And that should be pretty much it about the build. Yeah, I don't think I forgot anything. I will show you my stats currently. So I have 4k armor, 70% block chance, and 50% block effectiveness. And this is I think ideally I want to try to cap your block chance, and then maybe you can try to scale some block effectiveness for defense. But yeah, I would say that life is not that important, and armor and block is a lot more important. It gives you, I think that's what's gonna make us near immortal, if not immortal. I think this build's probably gonna be able to push extremely high corruption. I'm gonna start doing it relatively soon. I'm just trying to get a better roll on my Strands of Soul. Maybe get a Frost Shackle pair of gloves from the Lich to try to get it with LP, and then try to maybe put on an experimental mod on it. But that's very unlikely, so I don't think I'm gonna be counting on it. That is, like I said, one thing you could do as well to get more ward is use Exsanguinous, and then use the Frost Shackle gloves that give you ward retention per uncapped cold res. And that will give you a lot more ward, because these gloves gives you, well, again, 1% per uncapped cold res. I mean that currently it would be like 88 ward retention, but you can easily get to like 150 cold res and still be res capped on everything, and that would be an absurd amount of ward. But it's gonna be very difficult to get. I will try, but I don't think I'll be able to, because I do not want to use Exsanguinous. Anyway, that's it for the build. If you have any questions, make sure to stop by twitch.tv/Carn_ and ask me. I'll be playing. I'll keep min-maxing a bit the character before I start pushing really deep corruption. It's hardcore, so you know you have to make sure you're ready for it, and also try to get a better ready for Sigil. Yeah. Again, that will be it, and yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys there soon. Peace.